Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to PMDC online lecture room. This is Bakhtiar Ahmad, lecturer in elective English, PMDC colleges, Peshawar. Dear students, in today's video lecture, I'm going to discuss one of the important essays from your course, Eton, written by Maurice Baring. Dear students, the essay is very important from the examination point of view. In today's video lecture, I will clear your concept about the essay, but if you want to get high marks, you will make sure that you will go through the text of the essay attentively, because there can come short questions and long questions in section B and section C. Also, in section A, you can cover some of the objectives as well. Okay, dear students, I will talk about the author of the essay, Maurice Baring, and also I will critically appreciate and summarize the essay. Now let's start from the author of the essay, Maurice Baring. Maurice Baring was born on 27 April 1874 in Mayfair, London, and he died of illness on 14th December 1945 in Beaufort Castle, Scotland. He was an English man of letters. He was known as a dramatist, poet, novelist, translator, and essayist. And he was also a war correspondent. During World War I, Baring served in the Intelligence Corps and Royal Air Force. Baring was educated at Eton College and Trinity College, Cambridge. In 1925, Baring received an honorary commission as a wing commander in the Reserve of Air Force officers. After the war, he enjoyed a period of success as a dramatist, novelist, poet, and essayist. He was widely known to some of the Cambridge apostles, to courtiers, and to the literary groups associating with G.K. Chesterton and Hilaire Belloc. He suffered from chronic illness during the last few years of his life. Okay, dear students, the essay has been taken from a collection of essays by Maurice Baring entitled Lost Lectures, and it is a collection of imaginary lectures, and it was published in 1932. The author speaks in favor of Eton School because he thinks it is the only school which lays stress on games and sports. So the author expresses his fondness for his beloved school. Here the author plainly explains that the essay is a one-sided piece of literature which seeks to glorify his cherished institution. The author's love for his dear school is profound. He exclaims that if he had to relive a part of his life, it would be the part when he went to Eton. So he is nostalgic about the Eton college life. He would gladly relive every single bit of it, whether it was the humiliation he suffered, the punishment he had to endure on, or the grief he lived through. He would not like to miss a single moment of it. Baring remarks that he always was and always will be a devoted fan of Eton. As for Baring, Eton has been and always will be the best school, and that there is none like her, none. The author refutes the scores of all sort of criticism in the form of poetry, essays, articles to verify Eton College. Uh, Critics say that it is a school for the athletes and sports activity only, and not for the intellectuals. In response, the author admits that Eton was a school for the athletic and not the intellectual. So he doesn't argue with those who say that at Eton importance is given to athletes, to those who play rather than study. At Eton, both teacher and students believe that a sportsman is much more noteworthy than an intellectual. For 6 days in a week, the students of Eton are taught that to compete in athletics is the goal of life. And according to the author, it is not a deplorable characteristic. As the author says that it was the faults I liked best. According to the author, Eton is not dull and boring like other schools with lack of creativity, where minority of intellectuals are appreciated, and while majority of the students receive no recognition. So according to the author, if the opposite was true, if preferences was given to if preference was given to education rather than athleticism, then Eton would be like all the rest of schools, boring and dull, with lack of creativity. The school would applaud those who excelled in their studies, while the majority of students would receive no recognition. So in that case, there would be a few students who would be satisfied and smug, while the majority would be beyond boredom. The author argues that not only is Etonian system advantageous for the athletic but also for the studious. A person can enjoy unlimited independence when he is by himself. When a person, on the other hand, is surrounded by others, so he is obliged to give in to their wishes and demands. His freedom is lost and he becomes a follower of another man's desire. When he is alone, though, he does not need to follow anyone else. So a studious person in Eton can study and learn whatever he likes and however he likes, opposite of other schools where he is pushed around by who those who believe themselves to be the caretakers of knowledge. So in a studious school, a studious person's options are limited, since he is required to study what is thought to be important. So his freedom is restricted by the intellectuals himself. Baring explains that the tyranny of intellectual is far worse than the torture of the athlete. This is so because the intellectual seeks to control mind as well as body. His actions affect our emotions, while the athlete's affects our actions. The intellectual's tyranny tarnishes our soul, while the athlete damages only our body. So accordingly, the author says that it is better if Eton is ruled by the athlete instead of the intellectual. As the author says that the tyranny of the intellectual is the worst of all. So the author finishes his essay by saying that though Eton is known for its athletic achievements and all Etonians love sports, they also hold high respect for academics. Etonians don't necessarily despise education, rather they consider sports more important. So academic achievements for them are praiseworthy but still hold far less value than recognition in sports. So dear student, this was all about my today's video lecture. Thank you very much for watching my video lecture. I hope you are clear about the topic, but for more better understanding, you will go through the text attentively, and inshallah I will catch you soon in the next video lecture with another essay And till the time we meet, happy learning and keep loving literature.